say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right, thank you. This transmission has been titled Parables and Time Crystals. First and foremost, what is a time crystal? We are very excited to announce that your society, some of your scientists have finally discovered time crystals. This is something that some of your scientists theorized might exist a few years ago, and more recently there have been some of your experimenters that have discovered that time crystals do in fact exist. What are they? All right. Very simply, a normal crystal has patterns, molecular patterns, atomic structure patterns that repeat and repeat in space, creating the crystalline form. Same pattern over and over and over and over again, creating the crystal. But time crystals repeat in time. What this means is this: certain aspects of the subatomic structure, when induced to vibrate, when given a charge to vibrate, will start flipping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth at a certain frequency. They are actually changing in time, back and forth. They don't remain in the same configuration as a regular crystal. They change their frequency over and over and over and over and over and over again. And even when the initial energy given to them to make them flip is stopped, they keep flipping. They keep going. They keep resonating through time. To some of your scientists, this is an indication that they are getting energy from somewhere, because it appears as if they're getting energy from nowhere, and yet the flipping continues. The different spin states, as they say, of the subatomic particles continues to flip back and forth at certain frequencies. The idea that they will ultimately discover is that the energy that supplies them and allows them to continue to flip back and forth comes from parallel realities. They are flipping back and forth in different dimensions, different realities. Now, our ships, as we have told you, are a form of crystalline construction. It is a more intricate form of this idea, but our ships are made of time crystals. The fact that time crystals have the capacity to resonate to different frequencies having to do with different parallel dimensions is what allows our ships to transcend space and time and travel in the blink of an eye from one star system to another. Changing the locational frequency of our ships is possible because they are constructed of time crystal material, a much more intricate version than what your scientists are now experimenting with, but they have begun to realize that time crystals can exist in a multitude of forms and can be activated in a multitude of ways. This technology will continue. You will increase and expand your understanding of these crystals in the future as you go, as you understand more and more about them. Now, what does this have to do with parables? Most of you understand the concept of parables as a story that has some kind of a message or a lesson in it that teaches you some idea that might be different than the ideas that were previously held. You tell parables to sort of present a new perspective on things. Since story is the strongest structure by which you retain information, parables, seeking to give you a new perspective, are best told in story form so that you retain the information that contains the idea of a shift or a change. Now, we're going to sort of deconstruct that term parable into the idea that what it actually represents is a parallel probable reality. Parable, parallel probable reality. You're being given a parallel reality idea, something that can be manifested as opposed to what has been manifested. Time crystals getting their energy from parallel dimensions, parallel realities, and parables being representative of parallel probable realities as well, allows them to sort of operate in a way that illuminates something about your reality experience. As we have said, and what we will repeat now in connection to this subject, is you think of your reality as a continuous time stream, unbroken continuity from one moment to the next, to the next, to the next. But your reality is not one real parallel reality. It is constructed of a number, billions of parallel realities, because you don't really jump from one point to another in a time stream, in one reality. You jump to different parallel realities all the time, creating what appears to be or feels like a continuous, unbroken reality. But this jumping back and forth all over the place, flopping, flipping through different parallel reality moments to construct the parallel reality time stream in a continuous way that seems to fit the reality you prefer as an experience, means that you are time crystals too. You contain the actual elements, the actual subatomic element structures that allows you as a physical being to flip through different parallel realities. This is actually a description of the mechanism physically that we have talked about, where your consciousness is shifting through billions of parallel realities every second, creating your apparent continuous time stream reality. It's this particular kind of arrangement of crystalline substance within you that actually allows this physically to occur in your dimension. So you are all living time crystals in a sense. So are we, so is every life form. This is contained within all living things and all matter. Your scientists have labeled time crystals a new form of matter that they didn't know about before. And they are going to discover not only the connection to parallel realities that drive the time crystals and allow them to keep flopping back and forth in frequencies through time, but they're going to discover that time crystals exist in all matter. And they're going to start understanding from that point forward in the years to come how it is your consciousness keys into the idea of parallel realities that exist simultaneously with one another and expresses it through the idea of the linear, continuous space-time framework by creating these flipping vibrations within you that allow you physically to alter yourself from reality to reality to reality, version of Earth, version of Earth, version of Earth, version of you, version of you, version of you, billions of times per second. Is this making some sense in your language? Yes. All right. So we are describing here the actual physical component of the consciousness mechanism that allows you to experience shifting through billions of parallel realities in physical terms. This gives you, wrapping your mind around this concept that you are always shifting billions of times per second through various parallel realities to create one apparent continuous time stream, can give you freer access, more conscious awareness of the fact that you are always shifting all the time. So focusing on the idea of yourself as a time crystal in that sense, and all matter containing time crystals, will allow you to start to viscerally, over time, physically, with your senses, begin to have a more physical, visceral experience of the shifting that is already going on. Remember, you don't actually ever accelerate the shifting. You become more aware of the rate at which you're already shifting. That makes it seem like an acceleration in space-time terms. But you are shifting at the same rate all the time. It's just that you can be more aware of it. And by being more aware of it and incorporating that awareness into your reality in an everyday way, you can experience more conscious control over the idea of exactly how you navigate those shifts more and more in the direction of the reality that you prefer, of the experience of navigating through all those different dimensional realities in a way that you prefer. So that you can constantly keep shifting to versions of Earth and versions of yourself that are more and more and more and more and more and more representative of your greater being, who you truly prefer to be, who you truly are. Make sense? So, even though some of this may be a little esoteric at the moment, that's all right. Just the deliverance of the information in this form will sink into you in a new way to give you more awareness, more conscious control of the fact that you are shifting billions of times a second right now, even in the course of this conversation. Continuity is an illusion, but it's an illusion you can create and have created to make it seem as if you are simply constantly in one reality, which you never, ever are. You are simultaneously shifting through the simultaneous parallel realities that simultaneously coexist to infinity. That is your nature. And awareness of time crystals and parables, stories that you tell yourself about who you are, definitions that are more harmoniously aligned with who you prefer to be and the reality you prefer to experience, will amplify and magnify your ability to sense the shifting that is already going on in a way as to make you feel like you're accelerating in your physical reality. That illusion is created by getting closer in your frequency to the frequency of the shift, so that it seems as if, paradoxically, the more you live in the single moment, the faster things appear to go, because you're catching up to the frequency more of the shifting frequency of physical reality. Similar to when you have a strobe light and you have a stream of water. When you flash the strobe light at a specific frequency, the stream of water no longer seems to be a stream, but individual droplets moving slower and slower and slower until you hit the frequency of the moving water in such a way that what you then appear to see is a single droplet suspended in time and space. It appears to not be moving anymore because you've caught up to the frequency of the falling water. Similarly, when you arrive closer to the frequency, the shifting frequency of physical reality, it appears in a sense to slow down, but it actually also feels simultaneously like accelerating, like speeding up, because you are now more capable of seeing exactly in every single moment what's really going on, matching that frequency more closely, and being able to more consciously be aware of the changes and shifts that you are creating within your consciousness. So use that paradox to your advantage. Slowing down allows you to feel like you're speeding up, because you are matching the frequency of the single moment that exists, because there is only one moment that exists. And what you think of as different moments is simply the same moment from different points of view. Make sense? It doesn't have to. Not yet anyway. Just let it sink in. Again, just the fact that this information is being delivered to you will sink into you, and you may start to notice either in your dreams or even in your waking state a little bit more lucidity about your relationship to the concept that you are creating your physical reality, and more awareness of the story, the parable that you're telling yourself about who you actually are, so that you can begin to truly be who you truly are. So just let it sink in. We thank you for allowing us to share this information with you at this time, and in return for this gift, I ask, in what way may we now be of service to you? You may begin with your questions and dialogues if you. All right, I'll say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. Thank you. Orinoco's quests. You have been told this story this night of your time because this is a representation of a shamanistic journey. And by following many of the principles, by anchoring to the earth, by opening to its secrets, by expressing yourself more as nature rather than simply being within nature, you all become your own version of the idea of a shaman. Able to ground yourself firmly to Gaia, the earth, and yet then simultaneously be capable of reaching to the stars, the heights, other realities, other dimensions, other beings, other consciousnesses. Also, this story, coming from what you call your future, shows you the kinds of things you can experience now, but will experience on the future earth, when the elementals are revealed to you through the increase of the vibration of your senses, when the hybrids have landed upon your world and begin to blend with your society. But the story is told to you now as a seed that will grow within you, not only to allow you to take that vibration into your hearts, into your minds, and in your spirits, and allow it to grow for future generations, but also for yourselves to begin your own shamanistic journey within. To open your senses to the things that are around you all the time that are simply invisible now, which may be revealed to you as you heighten your senses, refine your senses, and allow your senses to be better receivers of higher frequency vibrations and energies and information. Thus, tonight begins a different journey, a journey that you can walk through the coming years on a path that is stable and true and well illuminated by your own inner light, to see you through all of the things that shall be coming in the days and years ahead, as the splitting prism continues to bifurcate the different parallel realities that you are capable of experiencing on your world. A world of many worlds, overlapping or side by side, divided by clear glass walls, through which you may, for a time, see other realities, including those you may not prefer, but which cannot affect you because they cannot reach you through the glass wall. This splitting prism will continue to create more and more and more probable reality options and opportunities for each and every one of you. So again, this story is given to you this night of your time to act as a guide, to act as a rudder, to help you navigate through that splitting prism, through the eye of the storm that we will discuss tomorrow of your time, and allow you to walk true, aligned with the compass needle of your signature frequency, so that you may always know what direction in which to head, unerring to your magnetic north that draws you from the future self. Because now, as we have said, you're going to be far more informed by your own future selves than by your past selves. You are tipping the scale, crossing the threshold, where there is more magnetism, more energy coming from your future selves than from the past. The past self is now letting you go, giving you permission to lock into that magnetic wave that urges you forward into more of your own future self. This story of the shamanistic path is given to you so that you will recognize through synchronicity the guardians on the path that will help you. And though there may be tests and challenges, fear them not. For this story gives you the insight to walk the path as Orinoco did, as Orinoco will. To allow yourself to walk side by side with your future self until you step into its footprints and become that which you have for so long considered to be beyond you, which now can be with you, which you now can be, which you now can own within your own being. And walking on that path, in those footsteps, on that quest. Fear not the unknown. Fear not the dark caves ahead. For from the unknown you shall discover nothing but more of yourself. And from the unknown, no matter what comes out of it, it will also bring with it all the tools you need to handle it, to work with it, to transform it into more and more knowledge of yourself, more and more awareness of your being, of your spirit, of your truth. Orinoco's quest is the seed which will guide you. So walk the path with firm resolve. You can bring with you the wisdom of the past, the wisdom of the ancestors, as Orinoco did. But use it facing forward, not looking back. For as your year of 2020 comes upon you, from within your own language, it is not only, as we have said, the 2020 vision of looking forward, but the 2020 hindsight of understanding everything you have been, to bring with you in great clarity, to be able to walk with clarity into your future self. Orinoco's quest is your quest to discover yourself, your true self, your whole self.